Mogul Motivation, educating and empowering entrepreneurs 1 week at a time. Presented by True Stories Media. And I am your host, Antoine Twiz Taylor. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Mogul Motivation. Welcome back. I'm happy that you are here. If this is your first time listening, this podcast is for the aspiring entrepreneur who is trying to get over that hump and make things happen. This podcast is for anybody with a dream that wants to aspire higher and accomplish that dream. I don't ask for any money. All I ask for is two things. Number one, if you find anything beneficial in this podcast, please pass it on to somebody else who may benefit from it as well. I don't do any marketing. I don't pay for this podcast. I don't do anything of that nature. I just wanted to grow organically. I wanted to reach people and resonate with people organically and through word of mouth. So that's the first thing that I ask. Number two is please leave a review. Let me know what you like about the content. Let me know what you would like to hear from the content. Again, I don't ask for any money. This is produced out of pure passion. I just want all of us out there to win no matter what we're facing. So I recently, announced pre-orders for my debut novel, Board Games. I've been working on that novel since literally 2014. It's like a 4-year project off and on that I've been working on this book. And I just opened up pre-orders for that book on my website. But the reason why I mentioned that is because I went through a lot of, mental strain, a lot of creative strain. I really was pushing my limits just to get this book done because as a kid, I used to write short stories a lot. I have 7 notebooks filled with short stories, poems, all of those things. As a kid, I was very creative and I would just let the stories flow from my mind onto the page. And I would have a very wild imagination. I wrote sci-fi stories. I wrote drama stories. I wrote sports stories. I wrote all types of stories. And as an adult, I kind of let life get in the way, whether it be focusing on my business or just, anything else that was going on. I let life get in the way and I got away from being creative. I got away from writing poems and writing stories. So I made the decision in 2014 that, I have all this creativity. I'm going to write something and I'm going to publish something. And I'm finally at that point now, 4 years later in 2018. The book will be released in June. But right now, pre-orders have opened up. And that's so monumental to me because I'm finally near the finish line. Okay, I'm finally at the point to where I have accomplished a huge goal that I set for myself. And it's only the beginning because, even after that, God willing, people read the book, and the book is a success. But nevertheless, I finally got the story out. So once that story is published and in a paperback book, I will have a sigh of relief. The moral of this story is, ladies and gentlemen, you have to go through a lot of things that you hate before you get to the things that you love. I hate the advice that, you should just quit your job and follow your passion. If you have a book that you want to write, just write it. Don't worry about your job. I feel like that's terrible advice in my opinion because people have lives, people have bills, people have families. You can't just quit your job cold turkey and go head first into something thinking that everything is going to be A-okay overnight because that's foolish, that's insane, and it's not good logic. It's not good advice to tell somebody that. Sure, you should follow your passion, but you have to build your way up to that point. You can't just quit your job cold turkey because you're going to not just damage yourself, you're going to damage everybody around you. You have to do some things that you hate first to get to the things that you love. So based off my book example, I hated writer's block. I hated not having a story of mine published despite the fact I had 7 notebooks filled with stories. I hated the fact that, writing this book was so hard and so stressful. I hated it, but I'm getting close to the point where now I'm going to love the fact that I did it. I'm going to love the fact that I went through all of that because once I see the finished product, it's going to make all of that hardship worth it. The same thing applies to entrepreneurship and the same thing applies to your goals. You have to go through some things that you hate first. So if you really hate your job, you hate waking up at 4 a.m. and having to drive 30, 40 minutes to a job that you hate only to work it for the next 8, 10 hours of the day, 5 days a week, 4 weeks a month, 12 months a year. You have to go through that before you get to what you love, before your brand and your business finally grows into fruition of what you believe it can be. Because the reality is, despite going through all of these things that you hate, despite waking up in the morning every day at 4 a.m., despite having to deal with a job where you hate your manager, you hate the customers, everybody is rude to you, it's in an unhealthy environment, you have to go through this hardship. so that it can make you stronger and so that your brand can have time to mature. A lot of people think that you can just start a brand and then out of nowhere it's going to attract customers. It's going to attract a following. No, that's not going to happen. People compliment me all the time on the following that Mogul Motivation has, the following that True Stories Media has. And what they don't understand is I've been doing this for 8 years, honestly. If we're going to be technical, 8 years I've been doing this. And I'm still not where I want to be yet. I'm still not at the level that I envision my business being at. But nevertheless, this is 8 years of work, what you see right now. This didn't happen overnight. I didn't just decide to start a business and now people support me. Everybody that purchases a shirt or a hoodie from me, everybody that purchased a book from me, whether it be my ebook or now my debut novel, everybody that had purchased photography, videography services from me, this is 8 years of grind that I had to go through to get to this level, to perfect my skill set. And I'm constantly getting better. And the same thing happens with you. Your clock has to start somewhere. Start it now. I understand that whatever your situation is right now you're not happy. You're not in a happy space right now, but you have to understand that it's not in vain. It's only going to be in vain if you truly quit. So if you decide to hang it up and give it all up, then that's when it's going to be in vain. But you're not going to do that. You have to keep going. No matter how small progress is still progress, ladies and gentlemen. Never forget that. Okay, never forget that. You have to go through some things that you hate before you get to the things that you love. All right? Yeah, it's cool to follow your passion, no doubt. But you have to understand when you start following your passion, it's going to be a lot of things that you're not going to like. You're not going to make enough money at first. You're not going to have as large of a following or as much support as you want at first. You're still going to have to work that job that you hate at first. Your car may have troubles. You're going to have a lot of problems left and right. Life is going to be hell for a long time. That's basically a constant theme in all of these episodes. Life is going to be hell. You're going to go through a lot of low spots, a lot of valleys. You're going to hate it. You're going to hate entrepreneurship. You're going to hate the fact that you're building this brand. You're going to hate the fact that it's not catching traction the way you believe it should. But guess what, though? Eventually, if you keep working at it, if you keep grinding, if you keep pushing, if you keep putting in the work, eventually, you're going to start to love it. Eventually, the tide is going to turn. That's a fact. But the thing is, you don't know when that time is going to come. So that's why you have to keep working. People are going to tell you, oh, your business can gross 5 figures, 6 figures in 90 days and in 12 months. It's lies. It's all bullshit. It's all lies. There is no set time frame on your success, on when you're going to make it to that next level. You can't determine when that's going to happen. But you just have to remember that it is going to happen. So although you may hate your life right now, you may hate the stage your business is in right now, you may hate the job you're stuck at right now, you may hate your circumstances right now, you may hate all of that, and it's okay to hate all of that because we're human and that's a human emotion. But you have to remember that eventually hate turns into love. Eventually, you're going to love your job. You're going to love the business that you're building. You're going to love the clientele that you're getting. You're going to love the products that you're making or the service that you're providing. It's going to happen in due time. You just can't stop. And the irony is, when you start to love what you do, that's when people are going to hate you. But you can't worry about people hating you because that's human nature as well. It's going to happen. You're going to have people, no matter how successful you get, they're going to be bitter, they're going to be jealous, and they're going to be envious of you. But don't worry about all that, because as long as you continue to push out love towards your business and push out love in the atmosphere around you, it's going to mute all of that hate. Whether it comes from people, whether it comes from circumstances, whether it comes from unforeseen problems, it's going to mute everything. Love conquers hate. I know it sounds cliche, but it's true. Love conquers hate. Love is patient. Love is kind. You have to be patient with your business, and you have to be kind to your business. You have to be kind to yourself. You have to be kind to your customers and your clientele at all times. You have to hate it, then you have to love it. That's my message this morning, ladies and gentlemen. So let's continue to work. Let's continue to imagine reality, and whatever it is you're going through right now in your business, your career, your personal life, just remember that even though you may hate it now, love is on the horizon. Have a great day. I'll talk to you next week.